Hey, everybody, you're listening to What Are You Doing in Denmark, the podcast that helps you make Denmark make sense. My name is Derek Hartman, and I've been living in Denmark since 2017. And we are joined today by Kriti Prajapati, a comedian who has taken the Danish comedy scene by storm. Originally from India, Kriti moved to Denmark in 2017 as well, and has since co-produced the hit comedy show Almost Danes, which explores the quirks of Danish culture through the lens of an international. As a public speaker and stand-up comedian, Kriti blends culture and humor to share her insights on life as an international in Denmark, and today her audience is you. We're excited to dive into her journey from engineering to comedy, and her experiences navigating life in Denmark, and how she uses humor to bridge those cultural gaps that we're all familiar with. Welcome, Kriti.
Yeah, hi. Thank you so much. I'm super excited to be here and also super excited to share my story.
Yeah. Yeah, such an interesting and relatable story, but a lot of twists and turns. I think a lot of us have have had that as we've moved to Denmark. Sometimes even moving to Denmark itself can be a twist and a turn in your story.
It is for me like total like 160, 180 or like 360 turn.
Yeah, all flipped and flopped, yeah.
And super excited to share all those things with you and the audience today. Yes.
Yeah. So maybe we can start there. How did you find yourself in Denmark? What are you doing in Denmark?
What am I doing? I'm trying to make sure that Denmark remains one of the happiest countries.
There we go.
Yeah, so I'm doing stand-up comedy. That is like my main thing that I do. But I also teach Bollywood dance.
Yeah.
So also making sure that people are moving here a little bit. And I have also a YouTube channel and also like Instagram. So I do these three things.
Right. So you're making content, you're dancing, you're doing stand-up comedy, you're putting on shows and spreading that happiness.
And I'm also being like a spouse, so taking care of my husband. That's how I get my monthly allowance so that I can have some money and then I can be happy in Denmark. Yeah.
Excellent. And now is that how you got here, from moving here as a spouse, or what brought you to Denmark?
That's love, or my husband, or both. Yeah. So it was like getting married and moving here, and my husband had been like working here like for 2 years before like we got married and I moved here. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So relatable. I also am a trailing spouse, you could say.
And I think you also moved in 2017.
Also in 2017, yeah.
And I moved in March 2017.
Yeah, same thing, March of 2017.
Is it March also for you?
It was also March.
Wow, that is so nice, yeah.
I guess that was the month to...
Spouses moving like...
Of spouses moving to Denmark.
Moving for love, yeah. So that has been great. And like as a spouse, I think I can talk about it later, like what's the pros and cons of...
Yeah, why wait? I mean, let's get right into it. I know we've talked about it before because Annie and I both have that same experience of moving here for our partner's job and, having to find our own way and our own thing here.
And I feel like I'm still finding my own way.
Right.
It's like it will always be like my husband has work-life balance and my work and balance is here and there. So, but I think one of the good things about moving to Denmark as a spouse is that you can little bit relax. Like it's not like you have to find a job the next day.
Sure.
It's like you can take that, like, okay, I'm going to see if I want to do the same job that I was doing in my home country or let's, just find something new that I always wanted to do.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I did. Like after moving here, like, okay, I looked for jobs in IT that being like an engineer. But then I thought, there is some interesting thing that's happening to me, like I was writing a few things about life here in Denmark and being funny. So I thought, okay, let's go and just tell people about it.
Yeah.
And then I thought, okay, I can leave that part of my life being Kriti in India, like an engineer and everything, and just be a comedian.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so you were an engineer in India, and then this opportunity for your husband came to be in Denmark, and you decided, let's put that on hold and head to Denmark.
Yeah, so as I said, he was working here, so I actually came here 2 times as a tourist.
Okay.
And I got the feel of it little bit. Like first time it was just like being in love with a new country, just being a tourist here.
Sure.
Next time I came for 3 months, so I get the hang of it, like, okay, if I'm moving here, what would I do and everything. As I wanted to say, like, I was an engineer, now I'm a comedian, but, I always, I think, wanted to be on camera and do. So this is like really nice, you
Yeah,
know.
right.
This is my dream job. So it happened like I allowed myself to just try something new, and at the same time keep looking for jobs. Sometimes I feel very happy that it didn't work for me, like I didn't find the job,
Yeah.
which is not a good thing if you are a spouse and if you want to look for jobs and you're finding jobs. So
Well, I'm glad you said that because I often felt that myself moving here. I was a teacher in the U.S. and
yeah.
that was actually kind of the second chapter of my career. I started working in business and I worked in finance, and then I went back to school, got certified to be a teacher. I taught high school for about 10 years and then moved to Denmark, and I put all of that on hold and thought like, oh wow, like.
yeah.
What do I want to do now? Do I want to go back into the private sector? I had a few jobs, and then I think as immigrants, we're kind of used to creating our own opportunities. Whatever people want to say. I mean, it is great working in Denmark. That won't change, but it's great, and it's a system that's built for Danes. It's not necessarily built for those of us who are moving here and doing a job search without a network that are doing a job search and perhaps having to start a new career. When we come as a trailing spouse, our partners get that opportunity here, but we don't.
Yeah, for them it is like sorted.
For them it's
like
wonderful, right?
Yeah, like they have jobs, so they know what they are doing the moment they are getting up. Okay, they have to go to the job. For us, it is like, okay, what do I need to do?
Right.
And it is like that for a few months in advance. Like once you are here, and then you start doing networking, you're trying everything. But sometimes, like, because I know through my YouTube channel that there are spouses who are looking for jobs and not able to find. And I always like tell people that, okay, if you have something that you wanted to do, always maybe give it a try. Just meet with interesting people and try to find if you can do something else as well.
Yeah, so true. I think often people think of it as, oh, this is a disadvantage. What am I going to do? I need to do exactly what I was doing before, or those sorts of like, oh, I'm failing because I'm not finding another job in engineering or another job in education. And really, I wish that I realized it sooner, that you can look at it as an opportunity. You can look at it as a chance to try something new.
And that's where like being a spouse plays a positive spin to your life, that okay, you don't have to just start earning from the first month. So you can talk to your partner. This is how it is going to be.
Sure.
You're working for something.
It's a decision together, right? It's also not just, hey, I'm
not working
hey, I'm
and
not
you're
working.
Yeah. So because I think here I thought, okay, I'm married now. I can enjoy my life. But okay, I am here in Denmark where everybody's talking about what are you doing? Equality. Everybody is doing something. So it's like, okay, I just cannot be like at home and just relax. I would love that sometimes. So
sure.
Yeah, but now it's like, okay, finding your own way, and then if it start to work, because for me, I feel like it has started to work. Like the sense of like now I'm doing something is with the show Almost Danes that Beck and I have been doing. So it feels now that, okay, I'm on the right track.
Right.
Like after 6 years, after 5 years, like, okay, something is working for me. So
well, tell us a little bit about that. We know you were an engineer, came to Denmark for love, found your own thing that you wanted to do, and it was comedy. Sort of making those observations, writing things down, realizing, okay, I'm funny too.
Yeah.
It's not just numbers and equations. Like, I'm funny. And then comedy came into your life. How did that come, and how was Denmark sort of the inspiration for that?
Yeah, so for me, it's like, it's not that I found comedy like being funny in Denmark. So I can like upfrontly say that I have been like a funny kid,
Right, like you were funny in India too.
And I'm like, I was funny in India, like in my family, I was that funny kid they say like, in your school and everything. I'm a middle child, so I needed to find validation.
There it is, yep.
So like growing up itself, I was, making a way to entertain people, my family and everything. It was not like engineering and then comedy. I think for me, the road to comedy went via engineering.
Yeah.
Like I needed to do something, like have my plan A or plan B in place or something. And then I will always find my way to comedy. So, but when I came here, because it was like I didn't have my job. I sometimes feel that if I had my job, maybe I would have been like working and doing comedy once in a blue moon.
Yeah.
But when I didn't have anything, I was like, okay, let's totally focus on it and in between keep looking for jobs and stuff. But one thing also worked for me was doing this theatre course that I did with the Comedia School. I went for 2 years of theatre. That's what I'm talking about. Like once you're here, if you can just let your husband know that this is my time.
Sure.
To explore things. I did the theatre school that helped me become like an artist, internationally. I was always writing. I was in public speaking, Toastmaster public speaking platform.
Yeah.
So when I moved here, I started to write culture shock stages. Oh, there are less people here. There are more people in India. It's like why nobody's talking in the trains and stuff like that. And then it was like I went and gave speeches at my Toastmaster platform, and then people started to laugh.
Yeah.
And 7 years ago when I moved here, there were no also like English open comedy scene. Like you also know now.
It's grown so much.
It's growing and it's grown so much. So I remember going to Danish open mics and only, like doing in English comedy, and people were like laughing. Some people were laughing. So I'm like, okay, I'm able to make Danes laugh. That's my
There's
career.
Something there. Yeah.
So then I just gave it all into it.
Yeah.
And as I said, like after 5 years, it makes sense. Yeah.
I think that's great too. And one thing that, sort of being in this world, right, of like creating content, hopefully humorous content as well, like, and even things like this podcast, I think Danes do really like hearing what people from outside of Denmark think and experience about their country, especially when it's positive and it's good.
Yeah. That's the thing
they
about...
can sometimes be a little prickly when it's not.
Yeah.
But I do think that, like, you don't know what's weird or different or unique about your country. So when you have that perspective of an outsider, I think Danes really do like to...
Yeah, and that's why I think the show Almost Danes, co-produced show with Beck, is working for us because we also have Danes in the audience.
Yeah.
And our show is more like, talking about day-to-day life in Denmark. It's positive humor. It's not like making fun of anything in a weird way.
And look, I think everybody knows, whether they're Danish or international living here, that as wonderful as things are, it's not all pastries and hygge. Like the weather is difficult, the darkness is difficult. It can be difficult not just for, we do say often that it's tough for internationals to make friends here. It's also tough for Danes, especially if they move to a different part of the country or a different city. So I think like we are all kind of dealing with some of these things. That laughter is the best medicine for them, though.
The best part of like doing the show is like when people come back to you after the show and say, I can totally relate.
Yeah.
This is exactly what happened to me. Like on Instagram now I make videos and people are writing relatable, and I'm like, this is the right path, like you are actually hitting on the right notes to connect with people.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. I love your Instagram, and we'll put links to it in the description in the show notes so that you can find Kriti, and definitely give her a follow if you're not already. Have you had any experiences? Of course, on Instagram, probably people saying, "Yes, that's relatable. I've gone through this. I know." Have you had anything on the road that has been, sort of a notable experience, maybe with people in the audience or fans? Any kind of connections or conversations that stand out to you that way?
For me, it's the same. Like as I said, like people coming and talking, like it is like relatable. And now I think with the show and getting good, Instagram followers and everything, now I'm being called to all Indian festivals, like come and perform. And also, like I have done shows with Commune, like in Aarhus, then Vejle, and also Esbjerg. I did something with Odense Commune. So I think these are like, you're getting known.
Yeah.
One of the things that happened with my video about Tata Tata letter, I have to say that. And then somebody contacted me like a journalist, and then I was interviewed for Copenhagen Live. Newspaper. So I think with like growing on Instagram, it's just the visibility that I'm getting.
Sure.
So I'm just happy with things that are happening, and that I think led me to this podcast, and I'm so excited. Yes.
Well, we've known each other for
yeah,
a
we have
long
known.
time.
Yeah.
But no, it is. I think just wonderful to be able to kind of share those experiences, and that they are so relatable. And as you've kind of gone around Denmark and made those connections with people, not just in Copenhagen where you live, but outside of Zealand as well. And I'm glad that you also mentioned doing some Indian festivals and things of your own culture. I know there is a pretty big Indian community in Denmark. Can you tell us a little bit about the Indian community that maybe we don't always see or don't always have as much visibility of? Because, you are such a great representation for your community, not just as an international, but also as an Indian living in Denmark.
Yeah, if you need that festive vibe, if you need to dance, if you need good food, you need to attend all the Indian festival that is happening around. And again, like going back to 7 years ago when I moved, there were not many, I think, Indians, I would say, but it has grown so much. And there are like so many festivals happening. You have so many, like I live in Ørsted, if I'm saying that right, Ørsted.
Somebody will
correct.
Somebody will say it's right. Somebody will say it's very wrong. Yeah. No worries.
I can say that that's like a mini India because there are so many Indians. We have like a WhatsApp group with around 300 or 400 Indians, in that group. So it is growing so much, and it's really nice. Like Indian community, that definitely we bring that fun, that colors, then you can, and everybody is welcome. It's not like it's only for Indian people. Like we have Diwali celebration, all the festivals, and everybody is welcome. We have always had somebody from from the Danish, politics or
like ministers of culture.
Ministers or somebody is always coming. Then we have our own, the ambassador of India in Denmark. So we always had some representation, and we're just having fun and welcoming everybody. Yeah,
that makes sense. Yeah, I spent like a month in India in 2019, and I absolutely loved it. Everything you're describing, like just the colorful, the joyous, like it is just such a rich culture.
Every time I wear like something colorful, like I'm out at the
in
station,
Denmark, right?
Everybody is looking at me like, and it's like in a good way. Like,
of course.
There's something happening.
Yeah,
we want to join the party. It's like different vibe. So it's like you can always reach out. We have like Facebook groups, Indians in Denmark, and you'll see all the events. We have this Indian food festival, vegan and vegetarian food festival, and it's like from 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock in the morning. And Indians do like always a little bit late, but I have heard that Danes have come at 10 o'clock and they have enjoyed the food and they have gone, and Indians are just coming. So it's like Danes also, I think they love Indian food, and
they might be avoiding the spiciness of the food.
It's like they want to be on time and they're gone, but it's so fun. It's
sure,
so fun.
They plan for that for
2 months in advance.
Yeah, 2 months in advance.
And we are like, let's
go.
The
Indian Festival is week 44, so we'll go to.
Yeah.
Are there some key ways? Of course, you mentioned some of the festivals and the food that you've been able to sort of hold on to your native culture from home while sort of integrating in Denmark, which of course we know you've done through comedy, but in real life as well. How do you kind of balance those two?
For me, it's really important that I have some Indian friends in my life.
Sure.
So that, I can just talk with them in Hindi or just talk about anything or everything. So it's very important to have some connection, make some friends. And now that the Indian community has grown so much, you have options. It's not like there are only 2 Indians and you should be friend with them only. So I have my own girlfriends, and we meet once month. I think that is the Danish way.
Yeah.
Like we have to plan everything.
Sure.
To meet.
Okay, so that's a good balance of the Danish habit of planning ahead monthly for this meeting.
And
but having
my
cultural friends,
and then Danish winter is coming. Let's have Indian tea. Sometimes it's like so mixing both the things. Okay,
and a bottle of Kingfisher beer, maybe.
Yeah, why not? Just like always have some Indian touch to the Danish way.
Yeah,
I think it's very nice. And now that 7 years is a long time. So if I go to India, like you have made videos, right? Cross culture, shock.
Oh, the reverse culture
shock?
Reverse,
the reverse. It's like I just can't go anymore out to too much. Like I can't take trains in India, like local trains, because no, I'm like, where is the silent
Where's
zone?
the personal space, the
Yeah,
silent
where is the
zone?
silent zone?
Oh, yeah.
So it's like it's so much like I'm only spend time with my family and close friends,
Yeah.
and so it kinds of like, okay, you have changed a lot. But I try to find the balance in a way that I'm also celebrating other festivals. Like Indians also love to like have like, okay, let's have Christmas get together.
Yeah.
Okay, we can't go to Danes, but we can have our own Christmas celebration. I love to go to Christmas markets and just enjoy and be curious to what's happening around in the country or in where you live.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. So, really finding a balance between holding on to, where you came from and what made you.
Yeah, it's like there is like that's why it's almost Danes, because
Yes.
there is always some Indianness within me. So.
As there should be, right?
Yeah,
I think it's so, beautiful. One thing that I really, try to express in any content that I make, or if I, do get to, speak to other internationals here, is like, hold on to what got you here, and where you come from. Because
and that
it is so
the
important.
unique thing.
Yeah.
Because
you can do both. You can totally look forward and grab onto Denmark and embrace Danish culture with the culture you came from.
Yeah, because that's what like I can see in like on Instagram as well, that people are liking that there is an Indian woman doing fun about like, okay, what is it to live in Denmark?
Yeah.
So it's not like I have changed, and it's like, no, I love that Indian touch to my content.
Absolutely.
And then people are like connecting to me.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean that's the real specific thing that makes you. And I think if it is a Danish value of authenticity, well, then that's you being authentic.
Yeah, and that's true. Like being authentic, and even if you want, like there is a big barrier about like Danish language. So like, okay, I'll not get there. I'll not get there. There will be.
Oh, same. I'm.
How's your Danish going on?
Oh, ikke så good. Oh yeah, it's not great.
It can
one
get
day,
better,
one day.
It's like one day, or let's see how it goes. Because when I was giving the exam, like I was very good at it. Like
oh right, you just took
PD3. Like
PD3.
I passed, but 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
So it's like all now somewhere in the air it is. Like, so it's like, but I can speak with maybe an international. Like with you, I can speak because we can understand each other.
Because we're both speaking it as a second language, we don't need it to be like precise.
There is something happening with when you're talking with international that you connect and you understand each other.
Because there's a little more patience and grace when
and you're talking slowly also.
Yeah, you kind of just have to jump into the language
you have to
as
just
best you
forget
can.
about it and then keep practicing, I think.
Yeah.
It's easy to say, but it is very difficult to do.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I'm like, okay, I'm going to buy a bread from Laukehusel. I'm going to speak in Danish.
That's almost what you have to do, is just like force yourself to...
I'm not buying any bread.
Yeah.
Like I'm not going out.
So there's no bread in the house because I won't do it.
I'll make my Indian food and just be in my house. It's like that, yeah.
Yeah, the other day I was kind of having a rough day, and I was like, I went and I got a latte at the McDonald's in Central Station. So it was like not a place where it would have been like, oh yeah, you in Central Station in Copenhagen.
Yeah,
so it was not a place where I was like, okay, well, if I don't speak Danish, I'm not going to get this latte. But the person I was ordering it from was just such a stickler, and I know he was just being a dick because I was like, can I just have a latte? And Phil.
Oh wow.
Yeah, like a latte? Phil. I'm like pointing to it on the menu, like a latte.
Yeah.
Oh, a latte. I was like,
wow.
What? I'm like, no, it's not even a Danish word. You can put that. You can put that Danish enunciation on it, but it's not a Danish word. Just give me the latte. I know he was just being a dick.
Oh wow, yeah. He's just trying to be like, can you speak Danish?
Yeah.
Like maybe try one more time.
So it's like I definitely know what you mean. It is a little bit easier with us internationals that are also speaking as a second language to understand each other.
Every time you say the next sentence, if they will say even will be like, okay, let's speak in English only. Like you forget that you didn't practice for the second sentence. What will be the question? Yeah.
But I know so many people who have taken and passed the PD3, the Pedite, or even the PD2, and just don't feel comfortable speaking with Danes. Like they'll speak with like other internationals. It's
need
tough,
a different kind of motivation and that force within you that I'm gonna just master the language.
You have to be like almost stubborn. No, we're not switching to English.
Your life depends on it. Like
it's hard if you don't have somebody in your home as well that is Danish and native
But I have
speaking,
heard
you
that
know?
people have like, okay, they have Danish partners
Yeah.
or their kids are now speaking, but they will not entertain you. They're like, no, you do your work outside and just come home and talk to us. Like, they don't want to talk because I have friends who are married to Danes and stuff like that.
And they're like,
but,
no, we're not doing your Danish homework.
No, we are
we're
not
eating
doing that.
dinner and we're
Yeah.
talking
Yeah.
and communicating as
Yeah, we are doing in English and that's it. We are not going to help you, something like that. Yeah.
so true. Whether it's with the language or making friends or kind of any of the things that we've talked about, what advice do you have for somebody who would be moving here to Denmark, you know, as we both did in March of 2017?
Yeah.
You know, if you can take yourself back there, what advice would you give?
Yeah, so for me especially, what was interesting was that I didn't know much about Denmark.
Sure.
Like coming from India, we know about, okay, you're going to America, you know, the States, London, UK. So I came with a fresh perspective. Like,
Yeah.
let's see how it happens. What will life bring me here? So I think having a, you know, like this open mindedness will really help you because you have to really make sure that you understand that Denmark is a very small country, right? So you are coming to them. So if you come like, okay, let's change everything, that will be a very weird way to go about. So have that open, you know, perspective that, okay, let's see how it happens. And there will be some dark days, especially like if you're moving during the winter time. So there will be dark
Literally
days.
dark. Yeah.
Yeah. So you have to accept that things will be hard, but there are ways, like, you know, you have to start meeting with people. And if you're moving as a spouse, then there is always a plus point. Just find people with whom you can connect. Don't go directly with like, okay, I'm going to go be friends with Danes.
Yeah.
The biggest mistake that you can do. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I made
open
that one.
perspective and just find some new people and then try to become friends. I think would be very nice advice from my side. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so true. I always, you know, try to think and remind myself, and especially our listeners too, that you're not alone. We are all going through this, or we have gone through it. And especially when you can make those connections and find just a couple people in where you live or in your place of work that can be that connection, that friend.
You have to come out of that comfort zone because it will be difficult. But again, and you don't have to do all the things like the next day.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm here. Let's meet people. Take some time. Enjoy. I think Copenhagen, if you're moving Copenhagen, then it's a very nice place, right?
Yeah.
Go out, just do some sightseeing and enjoy, you know, okay, what is this place and everything. Take some time, but know that, yes, you have to get, you know, that independency, like, okay, I have to do some work and make your own network, because that's what I've heard, that like that's what I have learned, that I just can't be dependent on my husband.
Yes.
Yeah.
So true.
Otherwise, it will be like a problem for the relationship as well. You have to have your own life, and he has his own life, and then we have our own life.
Yeah.
That's what I've learned in Denmark.
That's great advice, because you really do get out what you put in.
Yeah.
So
it's like we have to give the space to him as well. Like, okay, if he's coming back from office and like, now entertain me, because I was alone all day.
Oh, I had so many days like that. I could so relate to that, of just thinking like,
yeah, and it's like
as soon as you know Mike would walk in the door, my husband, I'd be like, oh,
all attention to me now.
Yeah. Let me tell you about like this that happened to me. Sometimes good, sometimes bad, but I just and sometimes he was like, I just
and I could feel that my husband had a very long day and he doesn't want to do anything. Not like because he doesn't love me,
but just give me a half an hour to decompress,
and then we can talk about it, or maybe like meet me over the weekend. That's it. That would be nice.
We'll talk.
Yeah,
give me a couple of days,
and then I'll be there.
So true. And so it is so fun to kind of reflect on some of those early days and those mistakes that we made.
Yeah.
And I think, honestly, that's where some of the best advice comes from. And I think that's where some of the best comedy, some of the best observational humor
That's
comes
what comedy
from.
has helped me, because, okay, I can't speak the language. Let's make comedy about it.
Yeah.
I can't understand taxes. Let's write comedy about it.
Exactly.
I can't have friends. Okay, let's talk. Go on stage and talk, and people are coming. You want to go out for coffee? I can be your friend.
Oh,
I put a video yesterday, like when should I how do 2 months in advance to meet people, and somebody wrote on the comment that you can come to my place anytime you want.
Come right now.
Spontaneous. So like, okay, and I'm getting invite, like, come have good food, Indian food. I'm like, okay, that is good.
Yeah.
That's why I'm doing the Instagram, to have good food. It's like that.
Exactly.
So,
get all those
all the invitations,
all those meal invitations.
Yeah, so it's so fun just to be who you are and then find a way to make friends. I think then Denmark is really a nice place, I would say.
Yeah, it's even better with friends. Yeah, so true.
Because you don't, like, for us, like, we don't have family here.
That's
so you have
true.
to make your friends, close friends, who can become your family, and then you can just be with them. Yeah,
exactly. Well, Kriti, thank you so much, and we're so glad that you're part of our What Are You Doing in Denmark family. Yes. So appreciative of you sharing your thoughts, your insights, telling us your story of how you got here. And again, we'll put all the links of where people can find you in the show notes and description for your shows, Instagram, of course, YouTube.
Yeah, thank you so much. I was like so happy on the other side of the the table that I'm being interviewed, and I love to share the story and then connect with more people. So thank you so much. I was like just so happy. Yes.
Awesome. And thank you all for listening and watching. Hi.